I'm sure you can. We will be back later to pick up the car.
Edward, you're not too old to have fun. You're the most fun of all.
That made Edward very happy. Later, Charlie and Edward returned. Kevin was very excited.
Here you are, Edward!
Kevin trundled to one side. He giggled giddily. There was Sir Topham Hatt's car with a funnel on its roof.
It's a fun funnel!
Edward gasped. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He didn't think the funnel was fun at all.
Edward, what have you done to my car?
Edward felt terrible.
I'm sorry, sir. I was trying to be really useful and really fun. But it has all gone wrong. This is a disaster. I wish I had just been really useful.
So do I, Edward.
Please, sir, I can take you and Lady Hatt this evening. Then, tomorrow morning, your car will be fixed.
Very well, Edward.
Edward had puffed into Knapford Station with Sir Topham and Lady Hatt. Charlie was there.
Hello, Eddie. I'm ready for more fun.
Not now, Charlie. It's not the time for fun. It's the time to be really useful. I have to hurry to the steamworks.
Edward puffed into the steamworks. Charlie chuffed close behind.
Would you like to hear another joke, Edward?
No, thank you, Charlie. This isn't the time for jokes. I have to collect Sir Topham Hatt's car. Kevin, please take the funnel off Sir Topham Hatt's car. It was fun, but it wasn't really useful.
Right, boss. Edward, whatever you say.
Thank you, Kevin.
Later, Edward puffed out of the steamworks with Sir Topham Hatt's car. It was as good as new and funnel-free. All along the track, as Edward clickety-clacked, children whistled and waved.
This is fun.
And Charlie had to agree. Splattered everywhere. It covered the railroad inspector and Sir Topham Hatt. Then it flew down Gordon's funnel. Gordon spluttered and stuttered.
Oh, the indignity.
Sir Topham Hatt was cross.
Thomas, what have you done?
Thomas felt terrible.
The railroad inspector isn't pleased. Sir Topham Hatt isn't proud. Gordon can't whoosh at all. And it's all my fault.
Thomas knew he had to chuff and puff to put things right.
Sir, I will shunt Gordon to the steamworks. Victor will make sure his funnel is free and his firebox fizzes. Then, Gordon can take you on the tour of Sodor, and I can be really useful.
Sir Topham Hatt was happy to hear this.
Very well, Thomas.
So Thomas heaved and hauled his hardest and shunted Gordon glumly away from the docks. At the steamworks, Victor was happy to welcome Gordon and Thomas.
Well, Thomas, my friend, what have we here?
Gordon grumped and groaned.
Gordon's funnel is blocked with coal dust. He needs a clear funnel and a fizzing firebox.
Then he has come to the right place. Gordon, please stop looking so unhappy. It's only your funnel we must fix, not your pistons that won't pump.
Soon, Gordon's funnel was fixed. His firebox was fiery, and he was ready and raring to take Sir Topham Hatt and the railroad inspector on a tour of the island and of all the really useful and very busy engines on Sodor. Thomas steamed swiftly back to the docks. He knew he had a lot of work to do. At the docks, Thomas started to shunt and shove. He huffed his hardest.
Shunting cars, I do the best. I biff and bash and never rest.
And he didn't see Sir Topham Hatt and the railroad inspector arrive. They watched Thomas.
Thomas, you are a really useful engine. I am very proud of you.
And I am very pleased to see such a busy engine. I wasn't sure, but now I know Sir Topham Hatt's railroad is the best.
Thomas beamed and gleamed. Sir Topham Hatt smiled and smiled. He clickety-clacked along the track.
I'm not scared of the whistling wood. I'll puff straight on like Thomas would.
Then Toby heard the strangest noise of all.
Trembling trams! What's that noise?
Toby's boiler bubbled and his wheels wobbled. He pumped his pistons and raced back out of the woods, straight into the 6 freight cars Thomas and James had shunted. Toby felt terrible.
Oh, no! This is a disaster! I've spoilt your freight cars! The Duke and Duchess won't get their coal on time! And I'm an old and scaredy engine.
Toby looked at his friends. They weren't calling him a scaredy engine. Toby could see they were worried for him.
I'm sorry. I thought an old engine couldn't ask for help. But now I see that you're never too old to ask for help. Please, will you puff through the whistling woods with me?
Thomas and James were happy to help.
Of course, Toby. Follow us.
Soon, Toby's freight car was full of coal. Then, Toby followed James and Thomas into the whistling woods. Slowly, Toby, Thomas, and James chuffed and puffed along the track.
There's my friend, the snowy owl.
The snowy owl flew above their heads. It was sweet and fluffy.
Oh, my!
Toby couldn't believe he had been scared of the friendly owl. Then, Toby heard another noise.
What's that?
It's the woodland waterfall, look!
The waterfall was wonderful. It tinkled and sparkled. It clattered and splattered on the stones.
Buffers and bumpers! That's beautiful!
Then, the engines heard a noise that was very, very strange.
What's that? It's the wind whistling through the woods.
It's the whistling woods!
Toby smiled. He wasn't a scaredy engine anymore. He was very happy he had asked his friends for help.
I may be old, but now I'm happy.
And Toby smiled all the way to the Duke and Duchess's house. So Henry closed his eyes.
I made my wish. Thank you, Thomas.
That made Thomas even more happy.
Hooray! I hope all my friends' wishes will come true.
Thomas chuffed on to Knapford Station. James puffed quickly past.
I'm sure James would like to make a wish.
So Thomas raced after James. Thomas chased James all the way up Gordon's Hill. Then there was trouble. Thomas rattled and raced down the hill.
Stop, James!
Thomas's flatbed jiggled and joggled. The Star of Knapford wiggled and wobbled. Thomas was worried.
Cinders and ashes? This is fast!
Thomas applied his brakes. His wheels squawked and squeaked. Sparks flickered and flashed. At last, Thomas screeched to a stop. The Star of Knapford flew high into the sky. It floated and flickered right over James and Henry and Percy. Then crashed with a crunch and a crack onto the track in front of Thomas. Thomas gasped.
The star is broken! Now my friend's wishes might not come true! And it's all my fault!
Thomas was upset.
How can I get the star to Knapford now? Sir Topham Hatt and the other engines will be waiting.
Thomas decided to make a wish.
Maybe, just maybe, my wish will come true.
Thomas closed his eyes.
I wish that one of my friends would come to help me.
Suddenly, Percy, Henry, and James whooshed towards him. Thomas's wheels wobbled with wonder.
We saw the Star of Knapford fly high in the sky.
Are you all right, Thomas?
Thomas looked at his friends. Then he looked at the broken star.
I have been a very silly engine. I wanted you all to make wishes, so I didn't go straight to Knapford. I puffed too far and too fast. Please, will you help me?
Thomas's friends were happy to help. Percy watched the star.
Oh, dear.
What's happened, Percy?
I've puffed too far too fast. Now I've run out of water.
Henry was worried.
Rocky will have to move you, Percy. Health and safety.
And before Percy could wish another word, he was swinging high above the track from Rocky's long crane arm. Then there was trouble. Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He was cross.
Rocky, what are you doing with Percy?
It's health and safety, sir.
Health and safety have a time and a place, Henry. But now there is an emergency. I need Rocky to help Toby. And Percy has looked all over the island for the telegraph poles and wire he has to deliver.
Henry felt terrible.
I should have asked if I could take Rocky, and I should have asked Percy about the poles and wires. I'm sorry, sir. I wanted to stop accidents, but instead, I have made them happen. May I take Rocky now to the emergency?
Yes, Henry. Right away.
So Percy was lowered with a bump and a jump. Then Henry raced Rocky to Toby. Toby's cowcatcher had caught, and he had derailed. This was an emergency.
Now I must help Percy.
On the way, Henry saw an old freight car on the track. He was worried.
Fizzling fireboxes, health and safety.
Then Henry saw Thomas.
Thomas, why's this old freight car here?
Don't worry, Henry. I have to shunt it to the coal yard.
Henry felt happy he had asked, and he puffed quickly on. Henry picked up the rolls of wire and the telegraph poles. Then he chuffed cheerfully away to find Percy. Henry found Percy by the water tower. Percy couldn't puff. A tree had fallen across his track.
Oh dear, Percy. Can I help?
Yes, please, Henry.
Henry knew just what to do. Henry chuffed to find Rocky.
Health and safety is the way. Just ask first to save the day.
was upset.
Cranky! What are you doing?
Cranky crackled.
You said, help them. Load freight.
Thomas was horrified.
I didn't mean load engines.
Maybe not. You weren't here to ask.
Thomas felt terrible.
Unload Ferdinand now, please.
Then Thomas felt worse.
Cinders and ashes. Percy won't be having fun at all.
And Thomas wheeshed like the wind out of the docks. Thomas clickety-clacked past Percy's track.
Percy! Percy! Where are you?
Percy was sad.
I'm here, Thomas. You didn't try to find me. You didn't play. This is no fun at all.
Now Thomas felt worse than ever. The freight wasn't loaded. Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand would think he wasn't really useful. And worst of all, Thomas had upset his best friend, Percy.
I can't do two things at the same time.
Percy was puzzled.
What do you mean, Thomas?
Thomas thought, and he thought. Then, a much better idea flew into his funnel.
Percy, we're gonna have fun at the same time as being really useful. Follow me.
Thomas and Percy puffed into the docks. Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand were waiting.
We can show you that really useful engines are really fun ones.
Thomas and Percy huffed and puffed.
First you watch, and then you wait. Then you hold your car so straight. Never hurry, take your time.
One by one, you'll have a line. Then you know you've done your best. You've passed the really useful test.
We'll try our best. We'll have a bash.
We'll take our time. We'll never dash.
We'll huff and puff with all our might.
Hooray for you! You've done it right!
That was fun, Thomas.
That's right.
Thomas beamed from buffer to buffer.
Being really useful is the most fun of all.
And even Cranky had to agree with that. He flittered and floated through the air until there were none left at all.
Cinders and ashes! I only wanted you to sit down, Mr. Giraffe.
Suddenly, the giraffe did sit down, and he closed his eyes.
Mr. Giraffe's asleep, Percy. We must steam straight to the animal park.
So, Thomas and Percy clickety-clacked along the track and under the bridge to the animal park. Then there was trouble. The mayor and Sir Topham Hatt were cross. They had waited a long time for the tallest animal on Sodor. But the tallest animal on Sodor was fast asleep.
Wake up, Mr. Giraffe, please!
But the giraffe slept on.
This is a disaster, Thomas.
Thomas felt terrible. There were no rosy red apples, no juicy leaves, and no wide-awake Mr. Giraffe.
I know, sir. It is a disaster. I should have waited for the giraffe keeper. I was silly to think Mr. Giraffe would do what I told him. I'll puff my hardest to the docks and bring the keeper here.
So Thomas pumped his pistons and raced away. The giraffe keeper was at the docks.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, sir. All aboard!
The giraffe was still asleep when Thomas puffed into the animal park.
I'm sure Mr. Giraffe will wake up now you're here, sir.
And then Thomas chuffed away. He had a lot to do. At Farmer McCall's farm, Thomas picked up more rosy red apples. And from the orchard, more juicy leaves. At last, Thomas puffed and shuffed and huffed back to the animal park. Everyone was cheering and clapping Sodor's tallest animal.
Mr. Giraffe, you're awake!
The giraffe heard Thomas's toot. He stretched his long neck up, 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 and then down to Thomas's face.
Welcome to Sodor, Mr. Giraffe.
Away as fast as his wheels could rattle. Diesel arrived at the school. He saw children standing outside.
Rattling rods. They are sure to clap and cheer me now.
But the children didn't clap and they didn't cheer. The children were wet and they were worried.
Trembling tracks. The children don't want to see pretty pink piglets. They want a new roof for their school.
Then there was trouble. Sir Topham had arrived on Thomas. He was cross.
Diesel, what are you doing with James's piglets? And where is the slate for the school roof?
Diesel felt terrible.
I'm sorry, sir. I have been very silly. I brought the piglets to show the children because I wanted to be clapped and cheered. But now I see that the children don't want pretty pink piglets. They want a new roof for their school.
That's right, Diesel. You must put this right. Now.
Diesel clattered away. He wanted the children to be happy. Diesel rattled and raced. He had forgotten all about being clapped and cheered. He only wanted to be really useful.
I must get back to the school with the slate before it rains again.
Diesel arrived at Farmer Trotter's farm.
I'm sorry, Farmer Trotter. I took your piglets to show to the children. I wanted to be cheered and clapped like James. But now, I know I should have taken the slate to the school. That was much more important.
Farmer Trotter was happy to have his piglets back, and Diesel was happy to hurry to pick up the slate. Soon, Diesel was racing back to the school, as fast as his wheels could whir. Diesel wheezed into the school. The children were still waiting.
Don't worry, children. Here are the slates for your roof.
The children clapped and cheered.
Yeah! Hooray for Diesel! Now he won't be wet! Hip, hip, hooray for Diesel! Hooray for Diesel! Hooray for Diesel! Now he won't be wet!
Diesel heard the children cheer. He saw them clap.
I have never been happier.
Now I must do something.
Victor steamed sadly to Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir, if you will let me, I can have Gordon ready in time. Your car will be bright blue again, all the engines will be fixed, and I will be really useful again.
Sir Topham Hatt could see Victor was sorry.
Very well, Victor, but you'd better hurry.
Victor smiled.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Please, my friends, I have been silly. Now I ask you to help me. I can fix all of you, but I cannot fix all of you at the same time. Some of you will have to wait.
The engines hooted and tooted.
We'll all help you, Victor.
Standing by, boss.
Victor smiled at his friends.
Thank you. First of all, Gordon's valves must be cleaned.
What about my buffers?
Emily, my friend, your buffers are going to be beautiful for your visitor. Tomorrow, I will have them polished perfectly, but not today.
What about my broken boiler?
Victor smiled kindly at Edward.
Your boiler will be bubbling soon. Please wait.
Then Percy puffed up.
I really want to be gleaming green.
Victor chuckled.
I know you do, Percy. And you will be the greenest green there is. But maybe not today. Wait, please, with your friend Edward.
Harry and Bert creaked crossly.
We were here first!
I know you were, my friends. I have not forgotten you. After Gordon, it will be your turn.
This made Harry and Bert very happy. Then Victor chuffed to Thomas.
And your footplate, Thomas, my friend. I was silly to say I could fix it today.
Don't worry, Victor. I can easily come back tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas.
Kevin trundled up.
Good work, boss.
Later, Victor looked happily around the steamworks. Then Sir Topham had arrived.
Sir, Gordon's valves are cleaned and his funnel is steaming.
Well done, Victor. I see you are once more a really useful engine.
That made Victor very happy.
Thank you, sir.
Boss, do you think I'm really useful?
Victor smiled.
Yes, you are, my friend. We are really useful together.
Emily, where are the team's clean soccer shirts and shorts?
Emily was puzzled. Then she gasped.
Fizzling fireboxes. The stinky washing was the team's soccer shirts and shorts.
Emily felt terrible.
I didn't take the washing to the laundry lady. Now the team have nothing to wear for the opening game. The game can't take place. And it's all my fault.
Emily felt very silly.
I thought that all the other jobs were more important than mine. Now I see that all jobs are important. I'm very sorry, sir. I'm very sorry, team.
Emily wished weakly.
Please, sir, I'll puff my hardest and make sure the team have clean soccer shirts and shorts in time for the opening game.
Emily collected the soccer shirts and shorts from Maithwaite Station. Then she huffed and puffed to Marin Station. The laundry lady quickly washed the clothes.
These shirts and shorts are soaking wet. They won't be dry in time for the opening game.
Emily was very worried. Then an idea flew into Emily's funnel.
Please tie the wet washing to my funnel. The washing can dry in the wind as I race to the town square.
Emily chuffed and puffed proudly along the tracks. The wet soccer shirts and shorts flapped and fluttered in the wind.
Now, the team will have clean washing for the game. My team will be clean and ready to play. Go Sodor United, the best team today! Hooray!
Everyone waved to Emily, and Emily tooted back. Emily huffed happily into the town square. She was just in time for the soccer game.
Here are your clean, dry soccer shirts and shorts.
The Sodor United soccer team cheered and clapped. Emily felt very important.
Good luck for the game. 2, 4, 6, 8. We're the team who won't be late. Sodor United!
Everyone laughed and laughed. And Emily blew her whistle loudest of all.
Later, I will pick up the very important visitors.
Just then, Thomas puffed in. He had the workman with James's lamp in his cab. This time, James let the workman fit the lamp, and he didn't feel silly. Edward steamed in.
Hello, James. Your lamp looks good.
I know. Now I can see really well in the dark. But you are still late, James.
James was worried. Then, an idea flew into his funnel.
Sir, can Thomas and Edward pick up the visitors? And I will go to Brendam. That's a good idea, James. Then you must come straight back here. Yes, sir.
So, James set off for Brendam Docks. His new lamp glowed brightly in the dark. James arrived at the docks just in time.
Goodbye!
Then, James pumped his pistons. He set off once more for the town hall. James chuffed happily along. Now, he could see everything in the dark. James liked having a lamp.
I can see how beautiful Sodor looks at night.
James puffed into the town square. Alicia Botti was singing sweetly. Then James gasped. There was another surprise. Thomas and Edward were using their strong lamps to light the concert.
Please, sir, may I shine my lamp on Miss Botti? Then everyone will see her for miles around. Very well, James.
Now, James didn't feel silly at all. He felt very, very important. And when Alicia Botti smiled at him, James couldn't have felt more proud of his bright, beaming lamp.